Rasulullah, but don't have the knowledge and the understanding of the culture of Islam. Why do I say that? Look at this. Let's look at what the Prophet ﷺ established in Medina. Right? In Medina, the Prophet ﷺ, he addressed the grievances of the 8 tribes of Medina. And he drafted a constitution establishing an alliance of those 8 tribes and the Muslims who immigrated from Mecca, specifying, look at this, the rights and duties of all citizens. Establishing the rights and duties of all citizens, including women. He abolished slavery during his mission. See, he didn't just do that for all citizens, but he also built relations of different communities and different faiths. That's why we say there's no compulsion in religion, that truth stands clear from error. And whoever embraces Allah and his messenger has grasped a handhold that will never break. During his mission, he abolished slavery, restored the rights of women, stopped the killing of baby girls, established a code of moral principles based on the Quran, and encouraged, supported, and rewarded the quest for knowledge. The quest for knowledge. And I want to repeat that because I want you to stick with something that I just said. He encouraged, supported, and rewarded the quest for knowledge, stating that knowledge is the lost property of the Muslim. Seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. And the Quran says, are those equal, those who know and those who do not know? So knowledge is a foundation that every Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ made it obligatory for every Muslim. Every sane adult Muslim is duty bound to seek knowledge. And the reason that we see the Muslim community in the condition of it is today, in this society, is because of a lack of knowledge. Let me share something with you. Inshallah. The Prophet ﷺ is recorded as saying, narrated by Anas, I heard from Allah's Messenger ﷺ a narration which none other than I will narrate to you. The Prophet ﷺ said, from among the portents of the hour are the following. General ignorance in Islam in religious affairs will prevail. Religious knowledge will decrease. Illegal sexual intercourse will prevail. Alcoholic drinks will be drunk in abundance. Men will decrease and women will increase. So much so that for every 50 women, there will be one man to look after them. These are the words of our messenger. And he never lied. These are signs of the portents of the hour to come. We don't know when it's coming. But he gives it to us so that we can see the signs. And these signs said that ignorance would prevail and knowledge would decrease. So shouldn't we have a quest for knowledge so that we don't be amongst the ignorant? What is Islamic culture? Let me tell you the end of this ayat. And this is in Surah 39, ayat 9. But let me tell you the end of this ayat. Well, I'll read the whole ayat again. Are those equal, those who know and those who do not know? It is those who are endued with understanding that receive admonition, that receive warning, that see the light of this knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us. That is Islamic culture, a culture of freedom, justice, and equality, a culture of enjoining the right and forbidding the wrong, a culture of unity, trustworthiness, kindness, consideration, and family orientation. Why is the Ummah so disunited? Why is the Ummah so fragmented? Huh? We don't have to guess. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's guidance is clear. It's clear. Now, on the other hand, cultures can be created. Because culture is something that is cultivated, in other words, has growth in it. And it's caused to grow, right? One time, well actually, years and years ago, I don't even think the book is on the market anymore, but Imam Fahim Shuaib had wrote a book, Peculiar Needs of the African American Muslim. And in that book, he talked about how culture was created. But he talked about it from biology, right? Because the biologist takes what is called this little transparent dish, right? And he calls it, and it's called a petri dish, right? And he puts an ogre in it, and you will soon see something growing, and it's called creating a culture. Creating a culture. And in our societies today, brothers and sisters, cultures are created all the time. Because anything that is encouraged, listen to what I'm telling you, supported and rewarded in a society becomes a part of the culture of that society. So when we look at society and we see that drugs is growing, look at what's growing in your society. Drugs is growing. Gambling is growing. Murder is growing. Homosexuality is growing. It means that something in the culture of that society is feeding the growth of those said things. Look at it. Homosexuality is now being encouraged. Look at it. You have commercials that talk about HIV and have two men kissing one another, telling them, live your life. And it's become a part of the culture because people are encouraging it. They're supporting it. And they're rewarding it. They tell you don't mess with them. Even though whole societies were destroyed because of it. Look at it. When we were coming up, brothers and sisters that are my age, for instance, when we were coming up, we didn't know nothing about hip-hop culture. Hip-hop culture is created. We knew nothing about, my mother and father didn't know nothing about no hip-hop culture. I didn't know nothing about hip-hop culture, but it's something that's encouraged, supported, and rewarded in our society. So now we have what is called hip-hop culture, even though it promotes death and destruction. Is that Islamic culture? You know how many of our young brothers and sisters want to be rappers? Because this is what the culture is feeding to them? and they lack the knowledge of the true culture of Al-Islam, which is wholesome and good and enjoining right and forbidding the wrong. We have a responsibility not only to seek the knowledge, but to give it out. Let me say it short. Allahumma Muhammad wa ali Muhammad kama salatu ala Ibrahim wa ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ali Muhammad wa ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. So, brothers and sisters, we have to understand that the same things that were taking place during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam are taking place today in our society. And it is a need for us to learn the Quran and the Sunnah of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And understand this. This is for all Muslims. I know immigrant Muslims that come over here, Africans, Palestinians, Pakistanians, Muslims from all over the globe come to this country and become Americanized and adopt to this culture and do everything that is un-Islamic that you can think of. Because even in this culture, remember this, those things that are encouraged, supported, and rewarded are also a financial benefit for this for the powers that be. Think about it. You know, there's some business people that think that they can't make it without selling pork. Oh, brother, I tried to sell books. They forgot that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that grants provision and takes it away. They forgot? No, they didn't forget. But there's something in this culture that feeds the greed, the hunger, the lack of patience, and it corrupts our faith sometimes. So we have to be aware, brothers and sisters. We have to learn what is Islamic culture. Because Islamic culture is wholesome. It's good. It promotes what is right. It promotes truth. It promotes education. It promotes family structure. These are the things. It promotes unity, respect and consideration, love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger and the believers because of your love for them. Allah. See, this is the thing that we need. This is what bonds us. This is what will cause us to grow, and we can create a culture right here in this masjid. All we have to do is just teach the message. That's it. You know, I sell merchandise, right? But you know the beautiful thing about my merchandise is that I don't have to sell it. It sells itself. That's the same thing with this deen. See? It will do it itself. All you got to do is get it. And you'll see the results. see the results. Let me show you how ignorant we can be. You know, the Prophet ﷺ said that one learned Muslim is harder on the shaitan than 1,000 ignorant worshippers. Right? And we have Muslims that are divided. For what? Oh, brother, you don't have your pants up. You don't have your pants up. You don't have a beard. And you allow that to separate us. Oh, I don't go down there with them. They ain't on the sunnah. Right? Let me show you how ignorant some Muslims can be. Right? I told y'all one time that in this very masjid, a sister came to me and told me the imam had given her a Yusuf Ali translation of the Quran. And she went to another masjid and the brother told her to give it back. That ain't, no, we ain't on that. Right? Well, I got the one that they was on. See, Ibrahim profound his people from their own knowledge, from their own reason, from their own logic. When he broke the idols, and they came and said, who did that? He said, the biggest one right there. Ask him. He said, man, you know he can't talk. He said, oh, so you worshiping something that you can't even answer you, man? Let me just show you something. For years and years and years, we done heard, man, your pants down below your ankle, you're in the hellfire. Let me show you where that comes from. Now, this is the Quran. And this is the one they read, and this is the scholar translation, the scholar's interpretation of it. Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah will not look on the day of resurrection at a person who drags his izar behind him out of pride and arrogance. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or Abu Qasim, subhanallah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is another name of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, while a man was walking clad in a two-piece garment and proud of himself, with his hair well combed, suddenly Allah made him sink into the earth, and he will go on sinking into it till the day of resurrection. Now, what is that about? See, we don't take what somebody give us and run with it. You go and you study it and you find it for yourself. If I tell you something, check it. Check it. I can make a mistake. But here it is. It is clearly stating that, for one, he said an izar. Do all of us know what an izar is? Those are the little ones. Some people that want to mock Muslims say they're wearing skirts. Okay? But he said, let me repeat it. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah will not look on the day of resurrection at a person who drags his izar behind him out of pride and arrogance. You know why that is, brothers and sisters? Because during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the healthy, the rich and famous people used to drag their garments and poke out their chest out of pride and arrogance. And the Prophet ﷺ said that anyone with a mustard seed of pride will not enter Jannah. So if you ain't entering Jannah, where you going? Knowledge is important. Because if you don't have knowledge, someone can tell you anything. People argue, Muslims argue on whether the Prophet wiped his neck when he was doing wudu. Whether he wiped his foot on the front or the back. Whether he went down on his knees before he went down on his hands. These are little things that we find ourselves dividing on. and we forget the wholesome culture and the responsibility that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put on us. Because he said to us, you are the best of people raised up for mankind. You are the best of people evolved. He said evolved because there's some movement that got to take place. There's some growth that got to come on. It ain't just you pop up and you there. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. No, you have to evolve. Your faith has to be tested. You got to jump into the fire and pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it cool like he did for Ibrahim. All the praise belongs to Allah. And in closing, brothers and sisters, I just want you to know this. Because we get mixed up sometimes. We get caught up on, titles and sometimes we want to exalt, our teachers and things of that nature. Well, I want to just say this. Even for those of us who profess to follow the leadership or be under the leadership of Imam Latif Muhammad, I want y'all to stay with me now, right? Are we really following him? Are we really following him? Because he followed the Quran and the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he told to us, learn the Quran, learn the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or you may be walking around thinking that you're Muslims and not be Muslim. I'm quoting his words for those who say they follow him. Right? And I'll leave you with this. You can try to uplift his legacy all you want. His legacy already made for him. In the Quran it says, those were the people who have passed away. They will reap the benefit for what they did, and you for what you do. Of their merit, you ain't got nothing coming. So let us all, if you want to follow him, then do what he did. Put in the work. Learn the Quran. Learn the Sunnah. Put in the work that it takes to solidify La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Before I go, I just want to let everyone know that I spoke to Brother Imam Kabir Abdul Kabir Samsuddin on my way here, and he told me to give all the brothers and sisters his greetings, said he loved you, and he missed you. And I also want to say that let us be generous with our zakat, our sadaqah, however you want to do it. I understand that there's a building fund that is, we're trying to implement, and inshallah we'll start getting some donations or some pledges or whatever. Inshallah, when I have a chance myself, I like being the first anyway, but inshallah, we'll keep. You don't have to broadcast it. You can keep it quiet. But we need to give. We need the lights. We need some heat up in here. It's getting cold.
All right, bro.
So let us be mindful of our responsibility, of our obligations, because we're all here to fulfill what? Our obligations to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not to the masjid, okay? Because it's not about the house. It's about the hearts that's in the house, okay? So let us be generous with one another. Let us be kind and considerate to one another. Let us greet one another when we see one another. Let us, because we got to practice the deen. We can't just talk it. We got to practice it. You see? The Prophet ﷺ said that greeting will bring your hearts together. You believe it? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. He comes.